every prospect for every product and every service has a default buying criteria from where he is evaluating the cost and benefit of buying that product or service. Now the question is your product or service aligned to that default buying criteria? And the chances are that it's not. The reason is very simple, that the prospect has a default buying criteria which he has inherited over time, and there's not much innovation that has happened there. There's not much shifts that have taken place. But you, as a creator of a product and service, are constantly elevating, constantly innovating, constantly taking your product and service to the next level, to the extent that now you have a product or service that can deliver value to the prospect way beyond that he can imagine. But if those elements, that criteria is not factored into how he's going to evaluate your product and service, chances are that you're going to lose out, he's also going to lose out, because he doesn't get an opportunity to work with a far superior product and service, because his default buying criteria will not allow him to get there. Now maybe the prospect is very smart, very intelligent, and he can figure it out. But that's risky business, isn't it? So instead of that, if we take on the process of shifting the buying criteria in our favor, and there are several ways and several opportunities that we have to do that. So one of the ways that we can do that in our marketing is to put out content which is what is called contrarian content, where you say, look, this is the way how things, people perceive, but this is how things have shifted and moved. So when you start putting that out as information pieces, your entire target audience is consuming that content and is creating little shifts in their buying criteria. But that's a very long-term strategy. Now, when it comes to an engaged prospect, you have a whole nurture period involved, which can be, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever that period. And if you can start now offering little pieces of content, the right content in the right order, which sort of builds up step by step, where he's absorbing, he's getting, and you're opening up a whole new way to look at that product or service, then you are refining his default buying criteria, and a time will come that his refined and evolved buying criteria and your product and service are the only perfect match. So this art of shifting the buying criteria requires investing time and effort in finding out what are the jobs that they're trying to do, what are the outcomes that they are looking for, and in these outcomes, which outcomes are very, very important and which they are not satisfied with the current offerings. And in that, through your product innovations and the innovations in your narrative, you're beginning to transform the default buying criteria and reach a place where you, your product, and that prospect meet in a meaningful conversation, and that will lead to a very successful sale, a very successful implementation, and a lot of satisfaction for your client.